All right, everyone, we'll get started. Welcome to the September 25th, 2025 VAR Small Meeting. My name is Lindsay Van Slambrook. I'll be your chairwoman this evening. Fellow board members present are Daryl Cobb, Becky Finno, Bill Turner, and Fillmore Wilson. City staff present are Frankie Pinto, BARS Administrator, and Rachel Four, Preservation Planner. The order of tonight's meeting will be as follows. For each application, we'll hear an introduction and overview of the project from city staff for the benefit of the board and the public. This will be followed by the applicant's presentation. The applicant will have 10 minutes to present the application. And if you were the applicant, please approach the podium, state your name first and last for the record. And anyone speaking on behalf of the applicant, on behalf of the project, so this is owners, designers, consultants, architects, should speak during the 10-minute applicant presentation versus during public comment. By ordinance, the board can ask questions of the applicant at any time. By custom, we do so on the heels of the applicant's presentation. This will be followed by public comment. Written public comment that has been timely submitted on the city's website was provided to the board in advance for review. And if you are speaking as a member of the public, please raise your hand. I'll recognize you and approach the podium, state your name first and last for the record, and your address if you live nearby. Public comment will be followed by city staff comments and recommendations. And once we've heard from city staff, the applicant will have a 5-minute period of time to clarify or respond to anything raised during the public comment or in the city staff comments and recommendations. After the applicant clarification, public comment and the applicant's presentation will be closed and we'll move into board discussion and a vote. Results will be posted on the city's website. The following items have been withdrawn or deferred. 21 Reed Street. If there are students present, it looks like there are some. Welcome, we're glad to have you. Once you've stayed for your allotted period of time, please approach Rachel and she can sign what you need. Please turn off your cell phones and remember that the purview of this board is architecture only. So anything related to livability, zoning, stormwater is not within the purview of this board and should not be voiced here. All right, agenda item A1, review of the minutes from the August 28th, 2025 meeting. I make a motion to approve with the edits that I circulated to the board this afternoon. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Fillmore. All in favor?
Aye.
Not opposed, the motion passes unanimously. Agenda item A2 is review of the minutes from the September 11th, 2025 meeting. I make a motion to approve with the edits I circulated to the board this afternoon. Do I have a second?
Okay.
Thank you, Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, the motion passes unanimously. Agenda item B1 is 161 Gordon Street. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction overview of the project, please.
Yes, ma'am. 161 Gordon Street is in Wagner Terrace, which is Council District 6. It is not surveyed, which is in Group 2, circa 1987 in the historic materials demolition purview. They're requesting approval for a partial demolition of materials available from public right of way. This is the property's location on Gordon Street, and I will turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you, Frankie. John Sullivan with SR Studio, and thanks everyone for coming out this morning. I'll keep it quick since it's a quick little thing. We were basically requesting to remove the little side entry stoop and roof there. It's a weird site, being no backyard, as it almost backs up to the rear in a corner site. This is really the only site to do anything. We don't think it adds anything architecturally of merit to the building. It's not of the same construction type. It's not reflect the rest of the building. Whole thing there. I mean, we believe it is old. If it's not original, it's probably close to that. But we just don't think it adds anything to the building. And it's really the only place to do anything. We're not modifying the brick portion of the house, so the door window stays the same. So the main form of the house will remain. There is a little metal box and a metal louver in that wall that we'd like to get rid of, part of this too. And the steps are the same kind of brick as the house. So we're planning to try to save any of that we can to do any kind of patchwork to match the brick of the house. That being said.
Any questions? Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking from the public? All right, Frankie, if you give us city staff comments and recommendations, please.
Staff just had some observations. The request, excuse me, the request includes side entry porch, includes the roof post and screen enclosure. We did not have any documentation provided for the age of the portico. A portico over the door is a character defining feature and it's visible from public right of way. If historic staff would not be supportive of demolition. And we were able to determine that there is some form of entrance or portico in the 1973 historic aerial. Without proper historic documentation, staff really doesn't have a recommendation.
Mr. Sullivan, did you want to respond to or clarify anything raised on the staff comments?
Yeah, well, it's one thing, this, where the site is, the entire building is visible from the right away. There's really no elevation of the house that is not visible. So it's really the best place to kind of do anything because there is no rear yard, nothing. And again, as I said, it is been there for a while, but I don't think it has the same merit as the rest of the building. It's not a brick structure. It's been changed. It has metal roof on it that's not original on the 5E. It has metal ornaments on it. The wood posts definitely aren't original to that. So again, we think it's a minor change to the building.
Thank you. All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
I think the stoop is probably original. The brick is the same as the house. Probably the form of the little hood is original or close. I don't think the current materials are original, so it's probably been rebuilt. And clearly the whole house has been re-roofed, and that has been re-roofed, in the same fashion as the rest of the house. So it's one of those things that's got, for me, I think the stoop is original, and probably the basic form or similar form of that is original, but not material.
I tend to agree, and but as far as character defining features on the house, I don't see it as an overwhelming character defining feature. I think you find that, say, on the front elevation, the door surround on that, some of the other elements in the house. But the structure is fairly basic.
Bill, did you want to make a motion?
Yes, I would make a motion for approval as submitted. And I assume we need to put the waiting time on there as well.
Can we add more conditions that the eve, that back gable is original. And so the eve of that gable is original, and it runs straight down the eve of that little hood. That's one reason it makes me think that form is original, or it was nicely tucked in, kind of meshed into the original gable, rear gable form of the house. I think that the original rear gables should not be demolished. Now, clearly, if you take that little hood off, but I think that gable needs, that rear gable needs to, the form of that rear gable needs to stay. So I would make no, I'm talking about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you thinking just above the what you're calling hood, the porch roof?
Well,
You can stay.
no, if that's, if since all we're talking about is demolition, if that is going to be demolished, I would want to see the gable behind it
Retain.
retained. Because I don't, I mean, if you put another hood up there, I don't see how you would do a lot different than other than sort of tie back into that gable. So,
Right.
But I would like to see the form of that gable.
Yeah, that double,
retained.
the double gable there
Yeah.
is a nice form.
So would it be
So
correct
I
to
would
say,
be very much with the board condition that the form of the rear gables remains.
that makes sense?
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion on the floor for approval as submitted with the board condition, with two board conditions. One, the applicant waive the 30-day appeal period prior to pulling permits, and two, the form of rear gables remain. It's actually the form of the gables of the west elevation. I don't
Yeah,
think-
let's be more specific.
Yeah, form of gables. at west elevation remain. Okay. Do I have a second to Bill's motion?
Second.
All right. Motion to a vote. Daryl,
Yay in favor.
Becky,
Yay in favor.
Bill,
Yeah, in favor.
Fillmore,
Yeah, in favor.
chair votes the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, agenda item 2, 68.5 Lee Street. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction overview of the project, please.
Yes. 68.5 Lee Street is in East Side, Council District 4. It is not surveyed, Group 2, circa 1900, in the historic materials demolition purview. Requesting approval for partial demolition of materials visible from public right of way. Oh, sorry. My brain did. This is the property's location, at the corner of Lee and Nassau. And I will turn it over to the applicant.
Hello, I'm Chris Bauer with B Studio Architecture. 68.5 Lee, we're asking to remove some of the historic materials. Majority of that is related to our need to lift the home. From some presentation, can kind of see the site's a little square, red square on the left-hand side towards the corner. Historically, it's this very small, almost shack. It's about 350 square feet, so it's considerably smaller than other things that might be considered cottages. But it's still there. When we look at its current condition, it has been left in somewhat disrepair for decades currently. The siding is in very rough shape. A lot of the trim is missing. Really the roof, which is just 5A material, has gone well past its lifespan. In terms of quality, there's obviously a mixed bag of siding materials and construction quality for what is still existing. The home itself has also gone through at least one pretty major fire, so it's crispy. But from the exterior standpoint, we are hoping to bring it back to look more in line with a Freeman cottage style structure. So on the street facade, we are asking to kind of open up where there was more than likely a door on the street facade. Currently, it is just kind of random siding. And then on the right-hand side, there are two, as you can say, boarded up openings that are at different elevations and at different kind of locations on that side, east westerly wall. And we're hoping to have the ability to kind of open those up enough that they can be doors. One opening being 5 foot wide, the other opening being 3 foot wide. These are obviously the 4 sides of the current condition, kind of showing fire damage, missing siding and whatnot. Also, it does clearly show a lot of what's left of the foundation material being CMU block and a mixture of bricks and whatnot. So it is somewhat of a hodgepodge of material currently supporting it off ground. This is some of kind of the more close-up view of material that is being used for the foundation. We do need to lift it because it is in the flood zone, as well below the flood zone. So part of that lifting would require a new foundation. And also where the side porch currently exists is now a mix of CMU block, concrete, and various framing materials. We hope to kind of remove that accumulation of insensitive work and bring it back to something that looks more historically accurate. And that's kind of just the general condition of looking towards the interior. And that's our presentation.
Any questions for the applicant? I've got one, just to clarify, we're looking at the front. Shouldn't say door because we don't know what's going back, but the front area, the 2 side windows and the foundation, you'd work with at a staff level for you're not asking to demo the siding, that you'd work with
No,
that for a
yeah.
repair permit. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking?
Henry Memory Preservation Society of Charleston. The PSC appreciates the applicant's time on site this morning and are pleased to see that the proposed demolition is mostly limited to fire damaged areas that are beyond repair and facilitates the restoration and elevation of this historic property. The Freedman's Cottage is an important vernacular house type, and we applaud the applicant's intent to retain as much of the historic form and material as possible. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, Frankie, if you give the city staff comments and recommendations, please.
Staff had a couple observations. The front opening, such as that for a door, is typologically correct. Staff is not supportive of the frontmost opening on the west elevation. While a 5-foot opening is not extensive on this building, it is proportionally large, and we would recommend that the opening should align with the rear window and be restricted to 3 feet in width. Staff condition for approval is remove front opening on west elevation and the rear opening one with the rear window and be restricted in width. Our recommendation is approval with staff conditions.
Thank you, Frankie. Mr. Palmer, did you want to respond to or clarify anything raised in the public comment and the city staff comments?
I don't think there's any need necessarily for clarification, but in terms of response to the staff's observations, or recommendations, certainly the existing kind of windows on that side that are various heights and locations, our ability to kind of have an opening that is 5 foot wide helps facilitate kind of putting that structure together versus just kind of one random door. We are trying to bring something back that looks more, or that's been more balanced. So it is helpful to have those openings. And with the condition of the siding and everything on that side, don't feel that the discrepancy of a foot or 2 width is necessarily removing a heightened amount of historic material. Thank you.
All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
I agree with staff on the 5-foot opening. It's a bit much for that side. Everything else, I think I'm fine with. It's mostly restorative measures.
Question, would you be all right with the 3 foot wide opening where the 5 foot opening is? Like if it aligned with that window?
Since what staff was
Yeah.
saying.
Oh, that's what they said?
Opening should be restricted to 3 feet. Yeah.
My bad.
And I mean, I agree with Bill on the 5 foot opening. I think on that little tiny house, it's just gonna look somehow like a piece of glass stuck at the side of the house. So I agree. And we think about I think that should be restricted to 3 feet. And I mean, the alignment, if there's a 3 foot door there, is going away. So I mean, I'm a little open to juggling the alignment a little bit if they need to. We keep it to 3 feet. You think about the one front 2 doors on that elevation. Then there were 2 doors on that elevation, that little tiny house, but
Could be the connection with an addition.
do what?
Could be the connection with an addition. Maybe we don't know.
Yeah, that's not knowing what the
Yeah.
purpose of these are. It always makes it hard.
But I think the 3 feet would be more appropriate for the scale of the building.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that, I don't think either opening should be more than 3 feet. And I just have a question whether staff is opposed to that front opening on the west elevation altogether, I think. Correct.
We were just trying to limit openings, and since we had talked to the applicant about what is planned,
When you say the
We can
front
discuss
opening on the west elevation, which one are you referring? I think that one was.
yes, that is
Oh, okay.
the street.
Staff's comment was opposition to the opening front
It's already 3 feet.
altogether.
Yeah.
It's we're getting up here. I think getting a lot of openings.
I
Very
appreciate
small structure.
I'm appreciative of the preservation effort here, so.
I
Yeah.
am too, because we get so many of these things that are in this kind of condition. And even a whole lot better than this, where people are wanting to tear them down. So I applaud the owner
Right.
of this for taking this on. And that's why I feel like I'm fine with giving a little.
Mhm.
I think too, I think. I'm struggling to understand why two doors that tiny
Yeah.
little wall, but we, the plan is not in our purview.
We'd say every meeting, this is a
I think I
frustrating
would-
area.
Which the board is
Did you want to
sort
make a
of
motion?
leaning that direction. I'm kind of all right, maybe with having two openings there, as long as they're limited to 3 feet.
I'm good with that.
And in the generally aligned with the existing window openings.
Right, but they could
Or they could shift a little bit.
shift a little bit.
You know, a few inches one way or the other, but generally they should align.
So, Fillmore,
They
did
should be, in either end of the building.
you make a motion for approval with staff condition 2?
Um, Yes. And that both openings on the west elevation should generally align with the windows.
Can you, hold on, put it one more time?
And that both openings on the west elevation should align with the existing window openings. I think they're gonna end up being a little wider than this windows might not be quite 3 feet, but if you get this Rio door, then they're not gonna perfectly align.
All right, we have a motion on the floor for approval of demolition with staff condition 2 and a board condition that both openings on the west elevation should align with the existing window openings. Do I have a second to Fillmore's motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bill. With the motion to a vote, Becky,
Yay in favor.
Daryl,
Yeah, in favor.
Fillmore,
Yeah, in fact.
Bill.
Yay in favor.
The chair votes to the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Agenda item 358 Line Street. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction or overview of the plan, please.
'58 Line Street is in Jennifer Elliott Borough, also District 4. It is not surveyed. The original structure there is circa 1852 in the Old Historic District. They're requesting approval for modifications to a previously approved restroom building. Is the property location on Main Street? And I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you, John Sullivan with SR Studio. Again, so this, I think back in February, I believe, or gave,
December.
was it December? Oh, that long. Gave concept approval for 2 out structures in the patio back here, one a open bar structure, and then the 2 at the rear of the property was a restroom building. In the process of operation, it's been open inside and they've been outside. They decided they didn't need that many restrooms. There's no changes to the form of the bar structure that's actually already been built. But they want to reduce the size of the restroom structure from two hole restrooms to 2 single hole restrooms, and then do a roof structure like the front for entertainment, seating, etc. So it's in the same location, the back of that. Before there was the concrete stucco building with a metal roof. Then there's going to be a stucco building. We decided to do a flat roof on it and then have a open metal structure there. So that was the previous one, and that's the revised one. So same type of structure. It's outbuildings. I don't think it's any change of character before. The only pretty much similar to the previous. We would like to, when we talked last time the concept, we talked about matching the existing roof on the old building. Asphalt up high and it's 5 feet crimped on the 1-story. City staff wouldn't approve the 5 feet, so we went ahead and called for true standing seam. but since we had to come for the board for this, we would like to use the 5B on these two open structures. And we think it's appropriate for the outbuildings. We don't think it's a good idea or necessary to have a nicer roof on these two open structures than what is on the building itself. We did get up on a ladder. That's the existing roof material that's on the 1 story of that. So we're planning just to match that as improvement. With that, I will end my questions.
Any questions for the applicant?
And the 5B that you just gave us a picture of, that's on an addition on the,
So that's on some of it's addition and some of it's probably original. It's on the entire 1 story part, so. You see the whole 1 story. I'm showing metal up there, but that's actually, I believe it's asphalt on the top, not metal. I believe.
If we did require hand crimp, where would they crimp it? Because there's no ridge or valleys, would they just rip it where it joins?
it's,
I don't know. You can't tell.
I mean, I think it's, I guess like the age. I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, wouldn't be pretty. Or necessary. Again.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, they're low sloped roofs. I mean, you can, I mean, everybody refers to this. We should wait for more discussion.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you for keeping yourself in line. Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking from the public? All right, Frankie, if you give us city staff comments and recommendations, please.
Okay, observations, was previously approved in December of last year. And they're requesting to change the approved roof material from standing seam hand crimp to 5B. Staff can't approve a downgrade in a material. We don't oppose the reduction in size of the bathroom or changing the pitch to a pitched roof to that of a flat roof system. Our condition was just that the material must be hand crimp standing seam. So we are recommending a final approval with that condition.
Thank you, Frankie. Mr. Sullivan, did you want to respond to or clarify anything?
No, again, I think we went with the hand crimp because we were gonna have to come for a board meeting and we didn't want to come for a board meeting just for that. But we just went ahead and said, all right, we're just doing hand crimp. So, but since we had to come for a board meeting to change the back build, and we wanted to go with our original choice of material.
Thank you. All right, public comment on the applicant's presentation is closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
Those roofs have a little slope to them.
Just a little.
They're not completely flat.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably got. I mean, everybody sort of refers to it as hand crimp. The seams are not hand crimped. Everybody uses seam roller. Nobody would hand crimp those. The only thing that gets hand crimped is a ridge or
Right.
and so it's the difference is it 5E or is it's true standing seam, I think is the question here. And
That's
mean,
the
they're-
thing, given the orientation of them, you're not seeing I don't think you're seeing the.
I
flat
drive by
face.
there every day and
You're seeing the side of one and
No.
sort of the front of another.
Yeah.
So
I don't think
probably
this is
don't have a
noticeable.
problem with that.
I don't think this is really noticeable at all.
Make a motion.
I mean,
Daryl, did you want to make a motion?
Did.
Did you make a motion for final approval,
I did,
but
With-
not with staff condition?
not with staff conditions with the 5B metal crimp roof.
All right, we have a motion on the floor for final approval. And by final approval, that means you've requested the 5B, so. Okay, do I have a second to Daryl's motion?
Second.
Thank you, Becky, put the motion to a vote. Fillmore,
yeah, in fact,
Bill,
Yeah, in favor.
Daryl,
Yeah, in favor.
Becky.
Yeah, you can.
The chair votes to the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Agenda item 4, 21 Reed Street has been deferred by staff. Agenda item 5 is 2 Kennedy Court. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction overview of the project, please.
I talk too fast.
Sorry. I'll slow down. Lee.
No, you won't. 2 Kennedy Court is in Canterbury, LA Borough Council District 6. It is new construction in the Old City District. They're requesting conceptual approval for a new single-family dwelling. There.
Gotta be here till 5.
Oh, me too.
This is the property's location on Kennedy, and I will turn it over to Joel.
Thank you all for your time this evening. Joel Adrian with Coastal Creek here for Chief Kennedy. And get the direction of the arrows. All right. So this is actually your second look at this structure. But the first was met with such overwhelming enthusiasm that this is basically your first look at this structure. We initially had tried to use the 3-story height district and had something that was much taller, and were asked to bring it back down into scale. And so the footprint stayed relatively the same in that back corner there, trying to get our 2 off-street parking spaces on the property, obviously a very small lot. Kind of keep going through. This was really for the city to show we can back out of there. Floor plans, pretty simple. You know, it's not large. We're looking at right around 16, almost 1,700 feet, with a small little bit of space up in the attic area. And I think that is the biggest change, is that on that 3rd floor, it's really just in the roof, along with some of the other comments that y'all had as far as the porch and the window fenestration and that nature. So we'll just kind of go through. There's a simple section. You can see what we're proposing. The top one was the previous, and you can see that that thing was screaming out of the ground. And the bottom one is our current proposed, much lower. And then yes, actually I did provide before and current. So there was there were comments about the number of columns. I think that I preferred the 4. I think there was a talk about maybe going to 3. I felt like this made sense, and then reorienting the windows so that windows are centered in column bays. I thought was appropriate. There was talk about the width of the porch banding and obviously overall height of the structure. Next sheet, previous proposed. That road dormer is in place on one side. It's where the stairwell comes up to get to that little half story up there. And then this, I think, gives you an idea of what we were originally showing you as streetscape and why you did not think highly of it. And then the modifications. So it certainly comes back down into scale with some of the other homes that are around it. And this part of Kennedy, I'm going to say small little court. This is just an overall showing you where our property is and some of the heights and the scale of the other homes around the area, so we don't feel like in the surrounding this one will be stick out like a sore thumb. I guess that's it. So with that, I'll leave it up here and then can answer any questions that y'all have.
Any questions? Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking from the public? All right, Frankie, if you'll give us city staff comments and recommendations, please.
Staff just had a couple observations. The design has been restudied to reduce overall height. Window placement has also been adjusted. Parking has remained per previous design. Staff recommendation is a conceptual approval with a preliminary and final review by staff.
Thank you, Frankie. Joel, did you want to respond to or clarify anything raised in the staff comments?
No, shockingly, I'll keep them up close.
All right, public comment in the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
I think this is much better than what we started out with, the reduction in the height, some of the refinements to the fenestration. I think has all gone in a positive direction. I do have a couple of things, just minor things. Well, the first thing is, on the, southwest corner, I think the way the porch roof is working out is a little awkward. I don't know if maybe the porch needs to actually, turn and wrap that bump out. And then maybe you hit the opposite side of the, porch as well. And then the, ground floor porch slab, it may need to grow just slightly so that the columns, rest firmly on it and not overhang. The, I guess the two major things I have, which I'm not sure how quite to overcome them, is the shallowness of the porch. It's only, I think, back behind the columns, you've only got about a 3-foot porch, and that's just, I mean, that's not really usable, so I struggle with that. If that could just grow some in depth, I think it would help a lot. And then the parking pads out front, I think that whole area needs some more refinement, thought put into it. Normally, we would not have parking out in front, but I understand that this lot is very small, and typically the parking would be to the side. So I think that all needs to be further studied, maybe providing a clear path to the front door. Maybe the 2 spaces fall on either side of that path. Maybe that path is a different paving material. I don't know. It's just, right now, the parking just seems to be kind of like an afterthought. And I think with it being front and center out front, a lot more effort and thought needs to go into the designing of it.
I had 2 comments. One of them you've already touched on. The other one is if you were to look at the front elevation, the soffits just kind of come, they turn down and they fold back up. Since you have more of a formal house with turned balusters and 6/6 windows, I think you might want your soffits to kind of return back, kind of like that. Sure. Because it would be more, I guess, period. Like, and then you've already covered the porch thing on the west elevation, how it. I think it was west, right?
Southwest.
Southwest. Yeah. Was it, Bill, were you talking about how the,
It's the one you can see on the east elevation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's
east
this,
elevation.
this, I mean, this thing. There.
yeah, that, we're on the same.
Yeah.
That needs to be restudied, but that was my only 2 comments.
I actually had a comment on the front porch. I think it needs to pull in so it lands on the building. So think that. Okay, I think that's otherwise.
I could solve that
it doesn't
problem.
look appropriate. I actually thought maybe the detailing should be a little more casual because it's kind of decor. But that's,
I wouldn't disagree with that because it's a 1.5 stories.
yeah.
But then if they did that, they would want to change the turned balusters and the round columns, maybe,
Well,
right?
it seems a little, I
High
mean,
style.
it seems very formal for Kennedy Court if you, I don't know if I've seen any pictures of the court, but court is very modest.
Yeah,
So
I would agree with that.
straight baluster and
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
Could even have been a simple square column, but I think the porch and the roof needs to land on the mass of the building.
I think everything I had listed here has been covered, and the porch, particularly in the side elevation and just visually, is very, very narrow. And on the west elevation at the south end, of course, it's that condition is complicated. I thought it looked actually one improvement. Well, I don't know. When it had 2 columns there, visual columns on that elevation, it kind of just distracted your eye, and so you didn't notice the oddness of that condition on the south west end of the porch. But I don't know what would necessarily remedy that.
I mean, I would.
And those were
I would question whether that recess is even necessary. You know,
Yeah.
maybe there's a programmatic reason, but the entrance is already covered if you just had the porch and just
Yeah.
had the body of the building. Porch is very shallow.
I would, I know this would completely change the design, but I would almost rather have, not even have a porch and have a hood over the door, bring the door out, have a hood, than to have a 3 foot deep porch.
I would agree with that too.
Yes.
If that's the comment, do y'all want to see it back? Or do you want? So, until that comment, I've been thinking, oh, these are all potentially conceptual approval and more of the staff, but.
And that might also free up some room to get a little more creative with the parking out front.
I agree with Bill. on that. I mean, I know the conditions of the court, right? But if there's, I think that for the way that the parking is done in front of the house needs to be considered carefully.
Yeah.
Not, you may have to park.
Yeah.
The way you make that work out. I agree. In fact, the porch roof needs to look on the house.
So is this a deferral for restudy based on,
I think so.
who would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for deferral, with restudy, taking into account, for discussion.
All right, we have a motion on the floor for deferral for restudy based on board discussion. Do I have a second to Bill's motion?
I'll second it.
The motion to a vote, Becky,
Yeah, in favor.
Fillmore,
Yeah, in favor.
Bill,
Yeah, in favor.
Daryl,
Yeah, in favor.
chair votes majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fillmore, you. Agenda item 6 is 6 Trumbo Street. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction overview of the project, please.
6 Trumbo Street is in Wilson Village, Council District 8, was not surveyed circa 1870 in the old historic district. They're requesting conceptual approval to raise the house 13 inches above the base flood elevation. And there are additional exterior modifications. This is the property's location on Trumbo. And I've got 2 context slides in here, Joel, that was requested by the board. One of these is, this one is 4 Trumbo.
Yeah.
And this one is the elevation of 8 Trumbo.
We looked at
Respectable.
both of these.
Yes, they've both been
Yeah,
approved.
that's right.
Bill asked to see how high they were elevated.
And can you switch back to full?
Yeah, this is 4.
Okay, then the other one, sorry.
Yeah, the other one is 8.
Yeah, that's right. That one did not have a porch. It had been removed at some point.
Correct.
Okay. Switch back again. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
So 4 has a piazza screen with a window?
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not, wasn't the way it was shown on the streetscape.
Oh, did I grab the wrong one? I'm
I
sorry.
thought that, Frankie, I thought that on that one, we asked for the shutters to be removed on the piazza screen.
Did I grab the wrong one? If so, I apologize. I grabbed the one from the board.
Okay,
And I did not
Yeah.
check to see what the conditions were. I just got the approved drawings.
this was generally what it was. I'm remembering it now.
Yeah, this is the preliminary.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Keep going.
Go to the applicant presentation.
Thank you again, Joel Adrian with Coastal Creek, 6 Trumbo. And I'm glad that you actually provided the 4 and 8. Of actually going on at Trumbo, because I think across Street 13 is maybe being demolished, and gonna be rebuilt.
Yes.
But
On Trumbo.
4 is currently under construction. 6 and 4 were pretty much identical houses. Those owners are cordial friendly and gentleman at 6 asked us to draw and kind of do some of the similar things that the neighbor is doing. And so when it says to raise 13 inches, basically we're doing that base flood is 12 inches, and we just added 1 inch. Just so that finished floor is above. It's not like we're trying to get this thing really high out of the ground and do something other than just get to that design flood elevation. Here's just some of the context photos, the history timeline for the house, and more maps. Kind of shows its little evolution over time. And just some other photos. Current condition in that bottom corner. I don't know, I think it was maybe about 3 years ago, Trumbo flooded. And I know 4 water was just about to come in the door, because I know that owner as well. So that's really, I think, was generating all the people wanting to elevate their houses. So we've already been to Board of Zoning Appeals and have received approvals for the setback, the special exception, setback variance, special exception house. And what we're looking to do, I think this is one of this little drawings, pretty simple, but right now this corner here is open. There's a door that comes in. I'd like to fill this in. This part of the piazza has already been enclosed and maintaining the rest of it. The blue area is a current little storage shed that's off the back. Our goal is to make this a little dining room and then put a small porch off the back of that dining room. Floor plans, you can see that these houses are like a lot of our houses, they're just tight. So existing first floor, you come in, you got your stairs, room up front, next room, little kitchen, and then I said storage, little laundry room off the back there, and a bathroom. Proposal is to expand that area, get a small little pantry where that stoop is, and then create the area for the dining room so that we can get a first floor that people can entertain and families could eat. Second floor, not a whole lot of change, except that in the primary suite back here, we'd be able to get a little walk-in closet with a washer dryer up there in that addition. And then we put the big deck off at the back on that second floor. So roof plan, existing proposed sections to show the how far below base flood the house currently is, and then where we're going to be setting it as our proposal. The elevation, see existing as on the top row, proposed on the bottom. Get this thing up and get above our flood. Maintain the existing house pretty much as we can, other than we've got foundation now. Side elevation. There's the proposed enclosure being that back corner of the house, and then the 3 windows, that's the dining room, and above is obviously the deck. There's what the streetscape will look like. And then some simple modeling of 3D. We all get an idea of what this will be. I think that the front left 3D is important. The houses are so tight, close to each other. There's not a whole lot of view down the sides. Photos of existing conditions. And what's going on is that the house at 4 is obviously being elevated currently. That's it.
Any questions for the applicant?
Can you flip back to your streetscape?
Yeah.
It looks like your foundation wall is so much higher than the other 2. Are you going up? You're not going up any higher, are you? Or
Yeah, it might be the way that the other 2 are handling
Does that-
siding and just pulling that siding down. And I don't know. I'll be honest, I did not measure on it. And, but no, I agree with, I think looking, you know, if we go to the sections that,
Well, I
Yeah,
also notice that the siding is stopping at the first floor, not covering the
and not going
framing.
out further.
So it's
right? And
probably gonna pull down a little bit.
So,
Yeah.
if that's, you know, something that we'd like to see is to pull it down, reduce verticality. Certainly study that and entertain that.
you know, with these being sister houses, there are four sisters through there. And with them being sisters, I'd like to keep some continuity between them.
Actually, if you can go back to the streetscape, I have a question on that too.
All right.
I'm assuming that that's not the final version of Fort Trumbo. So it's hard to compare the sister buildings,
Correct.
compare what's happening.
Correct.
So is that correct or?
I can answer that. That is correct. Some things were constructed incorrectly and we are having that fixed to match the approved drawings.
Okay.
So if it was based on,
Oh,
as it
yeah.
is on the
Picture that,
site,
so,
yeah.
yes.
Hard to evaluate. Okay.
But, the drawing that Frankie gave us earlier shows what that actually should look like. Did you,
And we can,
can you flip back to that?
The context slide. But was that from the preliminary approval or was that the final?
that was the preliminary, but it should match in the final.
Which one, 4?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That should be this one.
So that's what it should. So Joel, you're kind of, did you look at these drawings and you're sort of,
yeah, because I know the owner at 4 and the guy at 6 does, and so we looked at these and
okay,
did our best kind of model. So
Okay.
because those two houses, 4 and 6, were basically identical.
Yeah,
So we thought if we could, you know, keep that similar, but I guess I missed that band, the height of that.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking?
Henry Antimore, Recreation Society of Charleston. The PNC appreciates the applicant reaching out to us. We are pleased to see the restoration of the balustrade and feel that the proposed rear addition is properly differentiated. However, we are not supportive of the proposed two-story addition on the west elevation as it obscures the historic form of this building. Additionally, the treatment of the piazza screen should be restudied to reduce the impact on historic proportions and material. As proposed, we feel that the addition of the window will crowd the space and create a loss of history. Other piazza screens on elevated sister houses on Trumbo may be helpful precedents to study. We ask the board to refer this proposal for continued study.
Is there anyone else speaking? All right, Frank, you could give us the staff comments and recommendations, please.
That observation did have the information from the BZA approval, but Joel already told you about that. We think the new window should be differentiated from existing. And that some needs space between the existing door surround and the new window above. We also thought was crowded. Our conditions for approval, restudy fenestration, differentiation, especially the window above the piazza door. And we are recommending a conceptual approval with board and staff conditions.
Thank you, Frankie. Joel, do you want to respond to or clarify anything raised in the staff comment to the public comment?
No, it's not.
All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
I'm sorry, can I ask one more question to the applicant?
You can ask questions at any time.
On the second floor deck. Was there, did you talk to the neighbors at 4 Trumbo and 171 Queen about the proximity of that? And they're okay with that?
So, the 4 Trumbo neighbor has seen the drawings and then they understand the 171 Queen apparently was just sold. I have not talked to the neighbor. I did reach out to my client and I spoke with him and he said that he has not been able to track him down. He's gone by with wrong timing, so they have not seen it. I did also talk with Charleston Village HOA and promised them that before this came back to y'all again, the drawings would be shared with that neighborhood.
It's really close. Second floor deck. Okay, thank you.
I agree with Frankie on distinguishing the windows and the addition. I think you could even go a little further, and maybe use maybe a narrower siding profile too, so that it reads different from the historic mass. Um, the regular comment, lower the center style of the shutters. The Without a section, I don't know the answer to this, but just heads up when you get to your detailing is make sure those front foundation shutters are recessed into the masonry opening. And you have a proper sill on those. Whatever type of sill was used next door, you might want to do it as well. The piazza, I understand staff's comment on the window above the piazza screen looking crowded. It was, I guess we use that, we did use that detail on the one next door.
It appears so. I had forgotten that was approved that way.
But this one, I mean, these are sister houses, but sister houses a lot of times had varying subtle changes to them. So you could even go with a lower pitched, different style. Screen hood, so that it doesn't but underneath that sill like that. And I think on the other one, just so that the window didn't look so crowded on the one next door, I think we did ask for those shutters to be eliminated on that one window. The additions on the back of the house, the drawings make it appear like they're open, the underside of the house is open. Is that true, Joel? Or?
It is, so we've got, obviously the front's closed, and then there's a section, 1, 2, 3, maybe column bays that go back that would be closed, and you would have some storage under there, and then the other part was intended to be open to his yard because he doesn't have a whole lot of yard. But it's roughly 6, 8 to 7 feet that he could walk up.
Okay, I think that's kind of a little oddity for a house downtown. Normally you would have a continuous foundation wall there.
At least on the full driveway.
At least on the
side.
driveway side, not necessarily on the back side.
Right.
And of course, that would be a straight wall without expressed piers. Or you could, I guess you could maybe, well, no, I think it should be a solid wall.
I had some questions on the front piazza screen, like the window really didn't seem appropriate to me. I didn't, the streetscape did not show the neighboring building. I personally would try to take the door up one step where you step up into it and eliminate the window and do the piazza detail where the roof edge actually comes around to the front to kind of like so it doesn't look like it has a really big forehead. So I would use I think the detailing needs to be worked more appropriately on that piazza screen. The siding needs to come down to cover, it looks like it's stopping at the first floor and not at the bottom of framing. So that needs to come down. And then I don't know, I on the left or west elevation, I think the porch needs to be articulated. So I think the historic porch and that needs to be expressed, and that addition needs to step back a little bit from it. So I feel pretty strongly about that. I don't know the window configuration as well on that side. It's just the one window. I don't know. I don't know if your perspective showed the visibility. It's a little hard to tell how visible that's going to be. I think those were my main comments. And then whether I was concerned about the second floor deck proximity to those two properties. So that just is.
On the piazza screen, don't know if you remember, Julia Martin brought one in recently that, that she was elevating. And, she did exactly what you were talking about. She put an additional step outside. And then she sort of filled that, I think she did a taller transom and maybe an even taller hood on, and then she did a light fixture above it, which sort of filled in some of that
Yeah,
space.
so I think it'd be worth looking at.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a good precedent like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
too. I think, because I think the window just doesn't seem appropriate and it seems really crowded. So,
We got nothing to add.
Sounds like a deferral with,
Edit.
more discussion.
Yeah.
Bill, did you want to make a motion?
Yes, deferral, taking into account for discussion and staff comments. All right, Joel.
I'm sorry. That's already in the third please.
So if you want me to pull the drawings for you.
No, I think he's elevating. It's like.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor for deferral for restudy based on board discussion and staff comments. Do I have a second to Bill's motion?
A second.
Thank you, Becky. I'll put the motion to a vote. Daryl,
Yeah, in favor.
Bill,
Yeah, in favor.
Becky.
Yeah, in favor.
Chair vote to the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
All right, agenda item 7 is 3 Hampton Court. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction overview of the project, please.
3 Hampton Court in the Council District 4. It is a category 4, circa 1885 of the existing structure. This is in the Old City District, and they're requesting conceptual approval for a new rear duplex. This is the property's location on Hampton Court. I'll turn it over to you again.
Thank you. I'm Ashley Jennings. I'm the architect on the project representing Drama LLC, Drama Hampton LLC. You have seen this project before, and the comments that we got from the board had to do with not the front building, the proposal to renovate the front structure, which was approved, but the duplex in the back. And you can see here the for those of you that were in the meeting last time, it's a flag shaped lot, and the proposal for the new structure is back here. So there's a lot of discussion about who does that building belong to. These are some views of the site. You can see looking down from Hampton Court. You can see the property widens out, and you might be able to see a little piece of the structure in the back from the driveway, but really where you can see the structure is through the adjacent neighbor's property because it will reside right back here. And you would see, this is the building that's on Father Grant's Court, and so that building will sit right in front of that one. So I'm seeing board maps just to show the history of the site. And this is the existing, this is the way the property looks right now. And this is the proposal. The last proposal had a building that was more of a 4 square, and there was a lot of discussion about Charleston proportions and looking at the way that the building relates to the street and what you can see from the street. And so what we've done is narrow the building to present a gable and that can be viewed from Hampton Court, and rearrange the parking and actually reduce the size of the footprint as well. And here you can see the existing and the proposed. This being the existing and this being the proposed. And this is the floor plans, and you can see once again the building stretches out and gets a little bit longer. We've reduced the square footage and we reduced the footprint by 1 bedroom on each floor. And just some art and light. And these are just comparison drawings to show the original proposed and the current proposed. And as you can see, I guess the most important elevation is the north elevation, and which shows up in another, the way it would look from the street. So this is the change in the proportion goes from a wider structure to a narrower structure. It just gets a little bit longer. And just some elevations. So the proposal here is to take the typology of a single house with a smaller element on the side to create that proportion we just discussed at the last meeting. So we do have a remainder of a little bit of a porch on the northeast corner, which is an odd place for a Charleston building, but in this case, it makes sense because it's facing the site internally. Here you can see some streetscapes. So at the top, you see the previous BAR submittal. This is cut down the driveway, looking at the adjacent property, and goes all the way through to Father Grant's court. So these two structures actually face Father Grant's court, and the court actually happens right here. But this was the original proposal. The building was a little bit shorter, but wider in the other proportion. This is the neighboring property. And so once again, when we were talking about the where does this building belong? I think there was a little bit of discussion about how it relates to Father Grant's court, the structures on Father Grant's court, and the adjacent structure on the front. And then the other site section is looking the opposite direction where you don't even see the structure. And some streetscapes. This is the top is the view from Hampton Court. So you see the gable end from Hampton Court. The next one is from America Street. So you see, this is the building in the back. We ghosted a little bit. These are the adjacent properties on Father Grant's court. And the final one is from Father Grant's court. And this is the structure. So as you're coming down that court, you kind of dead end into these two structures here. And this is the back of our structure, just peeking behind that structure. And some model shots, just to show you, once again, this is the structure we're talking about here. You can see it here. And when you look from Hampton Court, you can't actually see the structure from down the driveway of the property that the building belongs to. And from Father Grant's court, you can see this little piece of it. I'll leave it with that. Does anybody have any questions?
Just one. Have you got to the point yet where you're thinking about like paving materials and things like that?
No, but if we go back to the site plan, the intention is to create some green space. Right now, the whole property is pretty much a gravel.
Yeah.
And the intent is to define the driveway and define the parking so that there can be some green space inside, but that's as far as we've got.
Do you think you'll stick with the gravel or with hard surface?
I think that we definitely need to add some pervious surfaces on the site. The soil is pretty compacted right now. And we want to be careful that we're not shedding water to somebody else's property. So I think we will do some pervious, but I haven't, like I said, we haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking from the public? All right, Frank, you have to give us any staff comments and recommendations, please.
Staff just has observation that the proposal addresses the board motion for restudy of height, scale, and mass. And the staff recommendation is a conceptual approval with board conditions and preliminary and final by staff.
Thank you, Frankie. Ashley, did you want to respond to or clarify anything?
No, thanks.
All right, public comment in the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
It's, the proportions have greatly improved. I'm happy with it all overall.
I think
Yeah.
board comments were definitely taken into account.
I applaud the applicant for being able to really kind of significantly change the shape and respond to our comments from last time.
Do we have a motion, Becky?
I move for approval with preliminary and final to staff. Sorry, this is conceptual.
Yeah. We're on, this is conceptual. Yes. All right, we have a motion on the floor for conceptual approval. About staff conditions.
We do not have any.
Oh, all right, conceptual approval. and preliminary and final review by staff. Do I have a second to Becky's motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bill. I'll put the motion to a vote. Fillmore,
Yeah, in favor.
Daryl,
Yeah, in favor.
Becky,
Yeah, in favor.
Bill.
Yeah, in favor.
Chair votes with the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Addendum item 8 is 243 King Street. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction overview of the project, please.
243 King Street is in Charleston Village, Council District 8, the category 1, circa 1838 in the Old Historic District. They're requesting a conceptual approval for repairs and modification to the exterior. This is the property's location on King Street. And I will turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you. My name is Mark Budo. I'm here to represent, I'm one of the owners and represent the ownership team and support our wonderful architecture team for our tenant, Skims, which will occupy the first floor. I thought it would be appropriate to tell the board very quickly that I've recently been through the Board of Zoning Appeal. And we were approved for our underlying zoning for a boutique 10-bedroom hotel. Obviously, commercial use has always been the first floor. As part of that application, I worked very closely with both preservation groups, and we took a very, very respectful approach to how we were going to handle this building. Absolutely no added square footage, absolutely no new penetrations of any kind. Respect the historic fenestration of the building, and of course, no roof decks or anything that everybody always requests. So I'm pleased to say that we did pass with unanimous approval from the board, and then endeavored to work with our client to be absolutely respectful to the building as possible. And I think from the presentation you're about to see that you'll see that we've got a great tenant who has followed that kind of charge. Let me turn it over to Maria Carciniti.
Hello, everybody. My name is Maria Carciniti. I'm with Atmosphere Design Group, and we're here representing our client in the retail space on the first floor, which is Skims. We have basically site plans. This is the historical context of the property, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, and Mr. Regalbuto has already been in front of this board with the changes and requests that have been happening on this building. Going forward. This is originally from 1850s, the changes that were done around 1910, and then 1920s and going into the 60s, there's been very little change with the exception of some signage and the added of the awnings on the front. We're on to the 70s, and this is getting more current. This is the way it is right now. And basically, the ownership has been reflected upon us to follow the historical character and the details, and we are being very respectful to that and not making any changes at all to the structure itself. We're working with the finishes. We are replacing the material on the awnings. We are painting the whole facade. We are maintaining the current fenestrations, the doors, the windows. Nothing's changing on the first floor like on the spaces above. We are even maintaining the original wooden doors. We're changing hinges and hardware and maintaining everything as it is, and refurbishing and refinishing to a like new condition, basically. This is the side street, the whole length of the building. This is another, the last door on the right is entrance to the spaces upstairs. This is the existing layout. And this is what we're proposing on the interior. But on the exterior, Well, basically, this is existing. The awnings we're maintaining. Same thing on the side street. We are proposing to paint the whole building in an edgecomb gray color. It's HC 173 from Benjamin Moore. It's a historical color. I have samples to show the board. The same color scheme is being used on the side street on Euphane Street. And this is existing and proposed. Nothing is changing except the finishes and the colors. Same thing on the side street. This is interior elevations of the retail space. And this is the proposed elevations. What we are proposing is the awnings to be in this edgecomb gray color, which is their standard color for the brand. We have very discreet signage on the awning, 7.5 inches high in white over the beige. We also have some vinyl decals on the front windows with the logo. And the same thing on the side window on the side street. The one thing that I think probably change here from this elevation is I believe Mr. Regalbuto is the saint statue has already been approved to be removed from the facade. It's not original to the building itself. It was added by the sisters that owned and ran the bookshop, the Catholic bookshop in the previous owners. So that's being removed. And that's basically, let me go back to the samples. Excuse me, the sheet were not a sequence. It was supposed to be the last one. As to what the materials that we are proposing. There it is. And I have the materials here to show them to you, if you would like to see them now.
Sure.
Okay. This is the umbrella fabric that we're proposing for the awning. It's a color match to the edgecomb gray. I don't know what's customary, I'm sorry, pass these around. This is the actual color itself, the edgecomb gray. This is the one item that we are proposing to do because in order to make the feasible, the retail establishment on the first floor is the side windows on, not on King Street, but on Euphane. We would like to cover them with vinyl in order to be able to display product on the inside of the store. We are maintaining the storefront and the first side window, and this would be a color match to the for the vinyl that's going on the windows itself in order to block the visibility into the store for the display of products. And it's all in the edgecomb gray. The one thing we will be changing is, let me go to the elevation to show you. Is, oh, you can see it here. Is in front of the doors, there's some terracotta tiles right now. Above the cast iron curb that will be maintained and refurbished and painted black. And those 3 tiles that are there right in front of the door will now be black as well. We would like it to be black. So a continuation of the curb itself into the front door. And that's our color scheme, is the edgecomb gray and black and white. Very simple, very discreet. We're maintaining the corners of the building, the pediments on over the windows, the awnings are being replaced with different colors, and not much else is changing.
Any questions for the applicant? Thank you. Is there anyone speaking from the public?
Right, as far as the Regional Society of Charleston, overall, this is a sensitive storefront rehabilitation. However, we are not supportive of installing opaque vinyl film on the exterior of historically clear windows, as this would alter their character and result in an atypical condition for King Street. If reducing solar heat gain is the goal, we encourage exploring more sensitive, transparent UV film options that would not result in a noticeable color change, as recommended by the National Park Service Illustrated Guidelines for Sustainability for Rehabilitating Historic Buildings. Thank you.
Do we have anyone else speaking? All right, Frankie, if you'll give us city staff comments and recommendations, please.
Yes, first some observations, a structure is a category 1, so alterations cannot be approved at a staff level. BR signage policy does prohibit excessive repetitive signage, and any signage which the board does allow must be approved, must be permitted separately from building alterations. Staff conditions for approval be a no window tint, and the repetitive signage should either be on the awning or windows, not both. Staff recommendation is a conceptual approval with board and staff conditions and preliminary and final by staff.
Thank you, Frankie. So we're not looking at the signage today, or we are.
You can look at the signage today because it was included in the application.
Okay.
It's just when it is permitted, it has to be a separate permit from a building application or building alteration permit.
Got it. Okay.
This does not approve the signage.
Got it.
Final.
Mrs. Carson-Edie,
Yes.
did you want to respond to or clarify anything raised in the public comment or in the city staff comments and recommendations?
I'd like to. If that's okay.
Yes.
Sure. So great respect to our friends at the Preservation Society. The windows aren't on King Street. They're on Buffet. And I'll just make that correction and let the board use its good judgment. I think that been out of the business for a little while. We've done everything as demonstrated to be respectful as we can. This is an extremely long building. I don't think a single building like this with this long retail condition exists anywhere else on King Street that I know. And then Buffet. This is an extremely long building and requires this very respectful adaptation. And we've asked for no penetrations. We've asked for nothing to be cut out. No, we're not, crazy shutter details to cover these windows. We're trying to respect the building as much as we can. But practicality, even the single pane windows dictates that we should be, I think, afforded an opportunity to provide our tenant a workable space. And let me clarify, we're really looking to, in the store, Maria, am I mistaken? It's not all the windows. Can we go on?
The ones on, if.
Yeah, let's point them out
Excuse me.
for clarity, because I think there's a much belief that it's a lot more windows than we're talking about. If we want to identify them for the board.
It's, these windows here are the ones that are gonna get the.
All the double hung type?
Yes, on the first floor, not the storefront window, not the corner, just the other
Just to
double
be
hung
faint,
windows.
so I just want to make that clear.
And also, just to make a statement, the building exactly, I believe it's 245 King Street, already has had all these windows blocked off by masonry on the inside, so there is a precedence for allowing these windows for retail space to be blocked off from the interior.
So Mark, it's a film that's going on the exterior of the window.
Technically on the interior.
It's on the interior.
We would like to put it on the interior and exterior,
It's called out on both.
Okay.
yes.
I think we could probably compromise with something that's work with the board on something that's on the interior only.
Absolutely.
I think that would be something we would love to explore with the board.
What about the windows past the match line? Are any of those being? So those as well.
Yes, with the exception of the door at the rear. And that's basically all the stock area. And it's the back of house area, so for security reasons, it would not be feasible to have visibility into these spaces.
Yeah, if you go to the interior elevation, because I want to see what you would look at if the board denies it. So they have the absolute right on the interior. And so what would you get?
Okay, this is the sales area.
Yeah.
We have fitting rooms here in this area. This is the rear of the building is all back of house. This is all storage and shelving.
It would be very unattractive to see that from the street. All the other buildings I own, whether that be 288, the Tecovas building, J. Crew, all the other buildings, they don't have this dilemma. We don't really have this back of house problem to solve. It's only this unique building.
And I believe 245 has already done that as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, public comment to the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote. So that is across that's, if you turn around, you're on Buffet. This is 245.
Windows on that one.
Sorry, I'm just, so you all know, I literally turned around Buffet.
Which is
One,
probably on the
two,
interior, probably an interior
there's-
treatment.
Well, at least these two have been.
Frankie, if they're putting the film on the inside of the glass, do we have jurisdiction over that?
No.
I think we do.
We do if
We
they're
have-
putting it on the glass.
Yeah.
Glass.
We have jurisdiction.
And just to my knowledge, the other property on Buchanan has not been done recently, at least not as long as I've been with the BAR.
Yeah.
And the only other property that has a clean frontage and side access that has asked for it lately was Target, and we only allowed them to frost half the windows. None of those were double hung windows. All of those were storefront altar windows. They were relatively recent.
Yeah, I think that's, the board has control over from the inside face of the window glass out. And so we have purview over what goes on the glass.
So the film is also removable, right? I mean,
I think that's where a little, it's removable, and if it's on the interior.
But it is in BAR policy statements about having clear glass. So that the pedestrian can do
Yeah,
it.
there is a lot of windows is what I'm concerned about. And I'm just wondering if there's a better way of doing this with something else on the inside. I think
there are
fixed
solutions.
shutters or something.
Yeah.
Consistently, opaque filming on windows on the street with a street presence on a historic structure have not been approved. And they violate Department of Interior standards. And so I, for one, I appreciate everything else that's going on in this building. I think it's great. It's very nice that so if nothing, but the little statue has gone away, which technically was not historic because
No,
it
that
was
was
not 50, it hadn't been there for 50 years. I kind of liked seeing it, but I understand that it was, it was not 50 years old. So it's not historic, but I would not support opaque filming on windows, on a street presence, on the first floor, on a Cat 1 building. Really not anything in historic structure, and certainly not a Cat 1.
And I think there are other solutions to either.
I think there are, and
Using shutters or framing
Yeah.
inside or any number of.
this dilemma has been solved in very appropriate ways, and other dilemmas in similar circumstances, not just filming, but with security and sign and everything else have been handled and can be handled in different ways and more sensitive ways, I think. It just creates a significant visual impact on the streetscape.
Question for y'all, would any portion, or just do you think there should be a different solution everywhere? Would you approve any portion of it? I'm thinking the area where the storage is.
I think there's just a better solution for all of the windows.
window covering.
And yeah, interior shutters. There are a lot of different solutions that could solve this besides. I really just think filming, dark, opaque filming really changes the character of the window, the street presence, particularly on the first floor. It's not appropriate.
So it sounds like we've got consensus on that, but what about the remaining portions of the application? The signage, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with signage to know whether the window signage.
Is this the
Appropriate.
only, are those the only sign types that you're planning, those two?
Yes.
Okay, I'm fine
So
with it. That's pretty minor.
It's actually, I
Three,
feel like
yeah,
it's what
there's-
we asked
I think
for.
there's, the
Minimum.
window signs, I think, are pretty small.
They are.
They're only, they're pretty small, and they're 7.5 inches something, and there are only 3 of them, I think, right? And then there's a sign
Yeah.
on the face of each
Canopy.
awning.
The
Yeah, I
signage
think-
they have seems just, it seems like what we ask applicants to do when we're giving comments, so.
I mean, if they were also proposing a facade sign and right angle sign, then I would feel differently, but if this is all they're going to do, I'm comfortable with it. But if the signage grows, then
Well, it would have to,
I would
come
like,
back.
I would like staff to have it say so, to say no.
And I think that's it. The others, the colors, everything else, no issue.
I think they're doing a good job.
Okay. Bill, did you want to make a motion?
Yes, there are some conceptual, I believe, I would say conceptual approval apart from the window filming with preliminary and final review by staff.
All right, we have a motion on the floor for conceptual approval of all proposed items except the window filming with preliminary and final review by staff. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Becky. I'll put the motion to a vote. Fillmore,
Yeah, in favor.
Daryl,
Yeah, in favor.
Bill,
Yeah, in favor?
Becky.
Yeah, in favor.
The chair votes with the majority and the motion passed unanimously. Thank you all.
Thank you. We look forward to working with you this all.
Agenda item 9-245 King Street. Frank, if you'll give us an introduction overview of the project, please.
Was the, who made the motion in a second? I'm sorry, I was trying to type it out.
Bill and Becky.
Oh, yeah. I remembered the voice is not who was first. Okay. 245 King Street is Council District 8. It is a category 2, circa 1838 in the Old Historic District. They are requesting conceptual approval for alterations to the exterior storefront. This is the property's location on King Street. And I will turn it over to the applicant.
Good evening, I'm Luke Morris with Coast Architects. And we are right across Bufane from the last applicant. So this is a little historic, background to the building. It's technically 2 buildings, but in some point in the past, it's been combined into one. It's where the Rack Room Shoes used to be. And, it's really important to see that photo of 247 King from 1901 with the higher storefront. You'll see why that's important in a second here. And then this is some existing tile work and some additional historical photos. Existing floor plan. You can see that that column line demising the what used to be 2 buildings, which is one. And the existing Bufane Street elevation on top and King Street elevation on the bottom. Some existing photos. It's since been painted. This is the current painting. It looked a little rougher in the previous application. You can see that storefront's a bit lower. So at some point in the past, and I believe it's because it's an HVAC chase, they lowered the window and storefront and added the awnings. So this is the proposed floor plan. It's just retail space. And essentially, this is the proposed elevation. So the proposal is essentially to raise the storefront back to where we believe it originally was, to the top of the pilasters. The existing storefront entries would remain the same, and we would be squaring off the entryways going into it. So if you see in this floor plan, the entry vestibule is squared off at a 90 degree. And if this is the existing, if you can see, it's currently mitered off. The existing base under the storefront is marble. And this plan actually shows where we square it off, we would match the marble, but due to how probably impossible that is, we would propose replacing all the marble to be a similar green marble, but that way the veining and the tones would match. We would also paint the existing wooden tablature and the pilasters and corbelling there. And these are proposed renderings. So the existing building, the main body of the building is like a lighter beige, like you saw, and so the proposed color for both the wood, pilaster, and tablature and corbelling is like a darker beige, and that would be same with the storefront mullions as well. Another image. And that's it.
Are there any questions for the applicant?
I have one. Was it ever squared off before where you're proposing to get rid of the mitered corners on the building?
You know, let's look back. It looks like it was in that 247 King Street photo from 1901. My personal opinion would be that given the marble's color and then the vent types in that marble base, that it was probably done that way in like the 1920s, 1950s, potentially.
Any other questions? Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking?
Planning and Northern Preservation Society of Charleston. The PSC appreciates the applicant reaching out to us and taking our feedback into consideration. The 1901 photographs provided are a great resource that can help instruct rehabilitation efforts. And we appreciate efforts to draw inspiration from the previously existing brackets to reintroduce some of the detail that has been lost over time. While we recognize that the storefront had been altered, certain features, like the now historic tile apron, have gained significance. Given that the existing chamfered storefront vestibules appear to be consistent with these existing tile aprons, we encourage retention of the chamfered corners and the existing marble rather than replacement. Thank you.
Do we have anyone else speaking? Frankie, if you'll give us any staff comments and recommendations, please.
Staff had some observations first. The structure is a category 2, so alterations cannot be approved at staff level. Any proposed signage must be permitted separately. Staff is not opposed to raising the glazing to the original height. We are, however, opposed to removing the chamfered base as the tile at the door follows that chamfer. Our condition would be that the chamfered base is to remain. We are recommending a conceptual approval of board staff conditions and preliminary final review by staff.
Thank you, Frankie. Mr. Morris, did you want to respond to or clarify anything?
Good.
All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
Question for Frankie. This is on an aluminum storefront.
Yes.
Have we approved any aluminum storefronts, something like that? We usually see wooden storefronts.
Typically we see wooden storefronts. I believe we've done maybe aluminum windows, but that's all I can remember.
Okay.
Sorry, I need to ask a question of the applicant. On the elevation, I was trying to look back and forth. I just was curious where the bracket detail came from. Capstone wood painted bracket. I was looking at the photographs and I just couldn't tell if that came from you know, trying to recreate some of the previous deep, it looks like the 1950s photo maybe is the best.
So I will admit that I don't think that it was well thought through for this application. But the intent, and we've since updated it, the intent is to go with something that is similar to that, like you would see around downtown Charleston, like the Preservation Society has existing bracketing like that. So essentially the main body of the bracket would be the same depth of the entablature, and then you know, the kind of finial on top would be kind of a barrel vaulted on top of that, and then some, for lack of a better term, swag underneath that. But it would be a similar profile as what we typically see. And that would be further developed, obviously.
Thank you.
I think overall, the improvements are good. I love that the storefront is being raised up. The reason why I asked about, one of the reasons why I asked about the storefront is, and keeping the chamfered corners, which I agree they should stay because the tile does follow that, and I think they're a little unique. How is the use of the storefront, aluminum storefront, gonna look very chunky looking when you try to make that corner? And should it be of a different material? But that's really my only concern, is how you're gonna get that detail to work out with, you know, chunky
That's a good question.
storefront.
Is it something that can be determined at staff level?
It depends on the size of the frame. I mean, when they, you know, it's not
Yeah.
tiny, I mean, it's not huge, but it's, you know, a sliver. So it depends on the size of the frame.
If you could keep the framing as the smallest that you could do.
I could address that if you'd like.
Okay.
So essentially with the height of this storefront, it has to be a curtain wall system essentially if we're doing the aluminum storefront. That does allow us to maintain that 2.5 inch sight line. I think that if we went to wood, it would end up getting much bigger. And we may have to do something a little more structural with like a cross mullion at the door height probably, or I mean, obviously that would have to be studied, but I think that wood would have to be chunkier because of the impact rating requirements.
Thanks.
Go to stainless steel.
Hmm.
Just go to stainless steel.
Do we have some consensus?
I mean, I probably don't have a problem with the storefront system. I'm a little more baffled about the band and whether anything, it's been so simple for so long. And I'm just conflicted about having the bracket, but I don't really see in this. You know, if you look at that, like, I'm not sure there was ever a bracket there. I can't tell. You know, I mean, that looks very different. So that's, I'm saying, I think they should keep the chamfered.
Yeah.
I agree with staff on the chamfering. What's been stated. I think it needs to remain. And I agree also with those comment that I think that's going to be an aluminum storefront. It needs to be as minimal as possible. Otherwise, it is going to start, particularly at the corners. It's going to start. The turns going to start looking chunky. The brackets. I'm not sure about the brackets.
I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other.
I don't either. I don't really either. They're sort of a speculative addition, I think. But
What's a cat two building? So I
That's
sort of
it,
feel like it either should just stay like it is, or it should be some historic reference to the past. So
the brackets are,
seem kind of
they seem a little speculative.
Yeah.
For Cat 2 building, but
Who wants to make a motion? Daryl?
I can make a motion, why not make a motion, with staff condition one, that the Chancellor base is to remain. I think I'd like to make the comment that the storefront system should be, the members should be kept to a minimum size.
But what should be kept to a minimum size?
The framing for the storefront system. And then I'm not approving the bracket. Not approving the addition of the brackets.
Right. And you don't want to see it back, preliminary and final review by staff?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor for conceptual approval, with staff condition number 1 and 2 board conditions. The storefront framing should be kept to a minimum, and 2, that the addition to the brackets is not approved. With preliminary and final review by staff. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Fillmore. I'll put the motion to a vote. Bill,
Yay in favor.
Daryl,
Yay in favor.
Becky,
Yeah, in favor.
Fillmore.
Yay in favor.
The chair votes the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Morris.
Thank you.
All right, agenda item 10 is 218 Rutledge Avenue, Unit A. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction overview of the project, please.
And 218 Rutledge is in Canterbury, Elliott Borough, Council District 6, is not surveyed, circa 1890, in the old city. They're requesting approval for a change to approve BER drawing for rear stair. Is the property location on Rutledge? And I will turn it over to the applicant.
Hello, I am Chris Bonner with B-Studio Architecture. We are looking to change the design for the rear exterior stair for this project. It's working. There we go. The drawings on the bottom are for the approved architectural elevations for this project, and the top is the requested changes. The owner has permitted a pool in the rear of the structure, and per the zoning regulations, only one unit can access the pool. Therefore, the current design of stairs that shares that access is no longer allowed. And so we reworked the stair to meet that new kind of zoning regulation, as well as kind of maybe brought down maybe the scale of these stairs. They are in the rear of the building, far from really public view. This is the front of the structure, generally under construction, so that's the current state of construction. On the top, no changes to the front, and then the bottom is kind of the rear elevation. They can see the stairs do not go past the width of the structure, so it'll all be well at the rear of the long drive. Picture in the bottom right hand corner is the current state of construction. Obviously, there are doors and windows, hangout space, and so those doors need to be connected with the ground with stairs. Generally, the design is use of wood colored in a way to give some privacy to both the rear door as well as the top door, let some light in, and kind of separate those accesses from the unit above that comes down, and then the unit below that would come out the side into the kind of general drive area. I think it's what we have.
Any questions?
I have one, is, I didn't know zoning was okay with putting that pool equipment in the setback.
It has been permitted that way. I'm not exactly sure, but that it is existing and has been permitted for that location.
Is it on a platform? So that's probably why.
Typically,
Yeah,
it's
pretty much on dirt.
Thought if it was not on the platform, it could.
Mm.
I don't know. You might be right.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you. Do we have anyone speaking? Preservation Society left, so no. Frankie?
That just had a single condition for approval. We're recommending to minimize the space between the slats. Well, on the screening of the stairs, the permit drawings will need to mention, the permit will need to mention drawings and, the dimensions between the slats should be reduced. Staff recommendation is a conceptual approval of board and staff condition and preliminary final by review by.
Thank you, Frankie. Mr. Bonner, did you want to respond to or clarify anything?
Only thing I would say is certainly, this is an entrance to a unit. And I believe the distance of the slats we're showing is maybe an inch. So there is some consideration of allowing light in that space for safety. So to bring it even tighter really would create a very kind of dark space. I mean, an inch versus a half an inch. I know there is obviously some visual differences, being in the rear of the property. I don't know how much it really changes people's perspective, but I think the quality of light and that getting some light and safety kind of into that rear unit can make a pretty big difference in an inch or a half an inch or so.
Thank you. All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
I think it's a nice design. I think Neil Stevenson needs to see it. And
Yeah, for his.
then he can go back and review his Calhoun project.
It's a much cleaner design than what was approved before.
Make a motion. Make a motion to approve it as submitted.
So we have a motion on the floor for conceptual approval, no conditions, and preliminary and final review by staff. Do I have a second to Daryl's motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bill. Put the motion to a vote. Fillmore,
Don't know whether I like it.
Yeah, in favor.
twist his arm. Becky,
Yeah, I don't know it either. Yeah, in favor.
Daryl,
Yeah, in favor.
Bill.
Yeah, in favor.
The chair votes with the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
I didn't know you wanted Mike.
Agenda item 11, 299 King Street.
Thanks, better.
Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction overview of the project, please. Did we just railroad?
Sorry.
It's like, wow, it's sort of complicated.
It's for your students.
299 King Street is in Council District 8. It is not surveyed circa 1975 in the Old Historic District. They're requesting approval to install 2 light bars on the canopy for Lady Food Clubs. This is the property's location on King Street, and I will turn it over to the applicant.
Hello, my name is Andrew Barrett Rhodes. I'm with Charleston Sign, we're the sign company doing the install for the customer. They are just asking, I don't know if you guys need me to do something here. Sorry, my first time here.
So this is the drawing or the rendering of the light.
So they have the canopy on the front on King Street, and the previous tenant, Quicksilver, has existing light bars that would be at the base of the sign, which the light bars are already there. So Ladybird Books is just asking if they can put in newer light bars and replace the existing that are there. So they'd have one in front of each sign on the canopy to help do uplighting on the non-lit letters.
Any questions?
This is not a nighttime business, correct?
I believe they're open till 6 p.m. or their proposed hours.
Any other questions? Thank you. There's no one here. So Frankie, if you'll give us city staff comments and recommendations, please.
Staff only had two observations. That the graphics as shown in the package are minimal and appropriate for the location. Staff just cannot approve illuminated signage.
Did you want to respond to or clarify anything?
I think just as I stated before, they're going to have non-lit letters on the canopies and the previous tenant had light bars already. They're just asking to put in new ones in place of the ones that were already there.
All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote. This is interesting because we generally don't approve lighting on daytime businesses,
Right.
but there's existing lighting.
So would this be kind of a repair?
That's what I'm,
Replacement? They're replacing them because they're old and then.
Yeah, they just want to upgrade them with newer light bars. It'd be the same style, but it's just a replacement upgrading it.
Same output, same color.
That I'm not sure. I believe the color is the same. I don't know about the output.
if it were the same, I think it would be a repair.
And so the sign that was there previously
In those locations.
was lighted.
Yes, that's what, so this is different. If we would, I do not think this board would approve illuminated signage, new illuminated signage on a daytime business, just because we generally haven't done that. But this is already lit and it's a, and I think the business that was there was a daytime, it was a retail.
I'm not sure it was Quicksilver.
Yeah, that was retail. Yeah. So that's why I'm almost, if we're denying this, it's just because we think that the applicant can move forward at a staff level.
If we were to deny it, they could keep what they got. So, I mean, this is just upgrading something that's old.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I mean, this is not the same sign that was lighted before.
No, it's a different sign, it's a different business. We're using the same frame that we're putting the new letters on, and that lighting is on the canopy. They just are asking to replace it with newer fixtures.
It's a new business, it's a new sign. To me, it's a new situation. And the fact that there's old lighting from an old sign there is probably not the determining, for me, not the determining factor. This is a new sign
That's a good point.
that is asking to be lit, I think. And then we just have to decide. And
I have a question though, at a staff level, if they had not included the lighting part in when they were, so staff, you could approve this at staff level if it was just the signage, not the
Yes, it was
illumination.
not illuminated.
Is there any way that you could have stopped them though, if they just turned the existing illumination on?
Well, they would need a electrical permit because they would
Oh.
have to change. There would be wiring changes.
No, this gets outside of.
Even if it's a separate light bar, it's not part of the sign. It's an uplighting on the sign and it's existing. It's not, we wouldn't have changed any wiring.
I also can't confirm that previous light bar was approved because we did not finish that portion of King Street when we did our signage.
I don't have any problem with it if it's existing.
I don't either.
Frankie, can you still go back and look to see if you can find out if it was permitted? Like if we were to approve this, the previous light bar, if we were to approve this based upon what's existing was legally permitted, we're okay with it, but if that was not legally permitted, then it's gotta go away.
That's a good question.
I can see if there's any record of it. I didn't think to do that beforehand, as we saw it as a separate.
There should be a record if it's permitted.
Well,
And you're saying that's because we typically would not,
Right.
we would not approve something daytime business.
Right, exactly.
is the illuminated signage, is that a newer requirement?
That's been around for quite a while.
Okay. The reason I'm
Long time.
wondering is because this takes me into the realm of like legal non-conforming, so if also it might have been permitted, but was it done at a time when there was, you know, they worked with the city to do it and there was no requirement, and therefore if it is legal non-conforming, if they're not abandoning that, I don't,
I know that when I was on staff 8 years ago, that requirement was in place.
and I don't know how long Quicksilver has been there.
I don't know how much juice 650 watts puts out. It seems, do you have an idea on that, Fillmore? It says, no.
I do not, I mean, I think if it was, you know, appropriately permitted or approved and all they're doing is turning it on, then yeah, you know, that's, I think that's.
But should
I
the
don't think we have
illumination, should the
purview
illumination,
of that, but
think about other types of illuminations. I don't know.
really this is kind of a tough.
I mean, the way I'm kind of leaning is if the existing light bars were legally permitted, then I'm okay with a replacement. If they were not legally permitted, then they go away.
So would you craft a motion, approval conditioned upon the existing, light bars being legally permitted?
Yes. Just like that. That's my motion.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor. Let me write down what it said. For,
Very slowly moving.
yes, approval as submitted on the condition that the existing light bars were legally permitted.
And I also want to make it clear that if they were not legally permitted, the old light bars go away.
If not legally permitted, the existing light bars must be removed. Okay, do I have a second to Bill's motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Daryl. I'll put the motion to a vote. Becky,
Yay in favor.
Philmore,
Yeah, in favor.
Bill,
Yeah, in favor.
Daryl.
Yeah, in favor.
The chair votes to the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.